teach you how to use all the past form of verbs in Spanish. So right here I have 6 sentences. Why? Because there's 6 different versions of the past in Spanish. Some textbooks might tell you there's more, but really it's only about 6. The rest are like a combination of like different forms of these. Anyway, let's look at the first sentence. I ate breakfast at 8 this morning. So basically with this first sentence, you're saying that you did something in the past, but you only did it once. So in Spanish it would be comí el desayuno a las 8 de esta mañana. So the word we're focusing on in this sentence is comí, the conjugation of the verb comer, and we're about to look at these conjugations right now. So you can see right here with this chart, these are the conjugations for this form of the past. So yo comí, tú comiste, él, ella comió, ustedes, ellos comieron, nosotros comimos. Another note, comer is an ER verb. So all these conjugations are for the ER verb and is regular. We're going to be using comer for the rest of these examples. But don't worry though, because the pattern is the same for AR and IR verbs too. The only real difference is that you're changing the I or the E to an A. So let's go to our second sentence. When I was a child, I used to eat cereal every morning. So in Spanish it would be, cuando era niño, comía cereal todas las mañanas. So again, the word we're focusing on is comía. This form of the verb is used when you want to say what you used to do, like I used to do this, I used to do that, or when you want to say that you had a habit of doing something in the past. So I was walking, or I was talking, or I was doing, whatever. Here's the conjugation for that. Like always, you drop the ER and you add IA. Yo comía, tú comías, él, ella comía, ustedes, ellos comían, nosotros comíamos. So for AR verbs, this is a little bit different. So instead of the IA, it's ABA, ABA. So instead of ella, ABA. So yo hablaba, tú hablabas, él, ella hablaba, nosotros hablamos, ustedes, ellos hablaban. So let's go to our third sentence. It was raining and everyone was quiet. So in Spanish it would be, estaba lloviendo y todos estaban callados. So in this sentence, we're actually focusing on 3 words. Estaba, lloviendo, y callado. So estaba is the past form of estar. And you'll notice that aba ending is the same ending as hablaba. In other words, used to show a continuing action in the past. Lloviendo is from the verb llover. You take off the ER ending, you add the ending IENDO. This is the equivalent to ING in English. You do the same for AR verbs. You take off the AR ending, but instead of adding IENDO, you add ANDO. Hablando. Let's look at callado. It's from the verb callar. Take off the AR ending and you add ADO. This is the equivalent to the ED ending in English. Do the same for ER and IR verb. Take off the ER and IR ending, but instead of ADO, it's IDO. So a few things that we need to note here. Like I said, estaba is in the ending that you use to indicate that you used to do something or something is continuously happening in past. In English, it sounds a little weird because we don't really say that. We would say something like it was raining. Like we wouldn't say it wasn't doing raining or like it was like continuously raining. You understand Spanish? The EI and our ending is used way more frequently. To the point that a lot of times it's basically like the ED and then like they're very simple, like I did something. So even though the EI, our endings are used to indicate continuous past actions or something you used to do, it's also used just for the regular past tense, like most of the time. Lloviendo. Anytime you see this form of the verb, it always comes after estar, just like in English. Like in English, you have to say, I am eating. Same thing in Spanish. Yo estaba, yo estoy comiendo, hablando, caminando, etc. And same thing for callado. Like I said, it's the equivalent to the ED ending in English. The only difference is it comes after estar or haber. We're going to get to haber in a second. This one's going to be easy because we already went over this, but I just want to hit the point home. I was eating when my phone rang. Yo comía cuando sonó mi teléfono. So in this sentence, we got 2 words. Comía, sonó. Comía is easy. That's the form of the verb that you use when you're saying that you used to do something or that you were doing something. Y sonó is from the verb sonar, an AR verb. Using the conjugations that I said that you use for AR verbs when you're just talking about stuff that happened like once in the past. Él, ella, sonó. So in the next sentence, I have already eaten. Ya he comido hoy. So this is the verb haber I was telling y'all about. So haber is an ER verb. It conjugates just like any other verb, except it's irregular. And right now it's in the past form that you use when you want to say that something only happened once. So yo he, tú has, él, ella ha, nosotros hemos, ustedes, ellos an. The main difference between haber and other verbs is that haber is only used when you're using it with other verbs. And those other verbs has to be in that ilo form I've told you about. I or ER verbs like comer will be in the IDO. So comido, comido. Drop the ER, add the IDO, comido. Or an AL verb like hablar, you drop the AR, ADO, hablado, hablado. He comido, has comido, han comido, hemos comido, etc. Let's go on to our last sentence. I had already eaten before she arrived. In Spanish, ya había comido antes de que ella llegara. The verb we focus on this one is llegara. This form of the verb is used to express unreal situations, hypothetical situations. Now in English it's a little bit different because the sentence says before she arrived. That's assuming that she actually got there like for real. But in Spanish it's assuming, well, I didn't know she was gonna come, so I ate before I thought she was gonna come. So you're saying, it was unreal at the time that I thought she was gonna come. So let's see how to conjugate. Llegada is from the AR verb llegar. For AR verbs, if you want to express the unreal past, all you're doing is adding the A at the end. Yo llegara, tú llegaras, él, ella llegara, nosotros llegáramos, ustedes, ellos llegaran. Now you gotta be careful with the pronunciation because they got the future form, which is llegará. That's he, she, it will go. So just keep that in mind. And for I or ER verbs, it's a little bit different. You take off the ER or IR and you add IERA. So yo comiera, tú comieras, él, ella comiera, nosotros comiéramos, ellos, ustedes comieran. Little tips on how to use this. You see a que in the middle of a Spanish sentence, just assume the verb after it is always going to be in this form. It's not all the time, but a good portion of the time it is. So if you're not sure, just put it in that form. And that's the past form of Spanish verbs that you need to know. So now you can read a sentence and you use these tools to help you break it down. Let me teach you how to talk in the present tense in Spanish. The first one, I eat breakfast every morning. Desayuno todas las mañanas. The verb we're going to focus on is desayuno. Desayuno is the conjugated form of desayunar. And the form is currently is what you use when you want to talk about something that you do habitually or something that you do frequently. So you got AR, IR, and ER verb. Well, don't worry, they all conjugate basically the same. Desayunar is an AR verb because it ends in AR. So let me show you how to conjugate that real quick. Yo desayuno, tú desayunas, él, ella desayuna, nosotros desayunamos, ellos, ustedes desayunan. And it's basically the same for the ER, IR verbs. The only thing you're doing is changing the A to an E. So second sentence. I am eating breakfast right now. Estoy desayunando ahora mismo or ahorita. So the part we're going to focus on is estoy desayunando. This is the equivalent of the ing form in English. For AR verbs, the only thing you got to do to make this form is you're going to drop the R and you're going to add an NDO at the end. Desayunar, desayunando. For IR and ER verbs, all you're going to do is drop the ER and IR and add IE and DO. But the real meat to this form is estoy. It's the conjugated form of estar, one of the forms of to be in Spanish. When you're using verbs in the ando, yendo form, that's when you use the verb estar. So let's see how to conjugate this. Yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, ellos, ustedes están. Use this form when you want to say that you are currently doing something, eating, walking, whatever. Okay, third sentence. I hope you eat breakfast. Espero que desayunes. What we're going to focus on here is que desayunes. First, desayunes. So this is another present tense form of desayunar. But this form is used when you want to express, hope, desire, something that's not real. Hypothetical situations. In the case of this sentence, we're saying that I wish, you hope that somebody or that you eat breakfast. An unreal, hypothetical situation, a desire that you have. It's very easy to do this in the present tense. So all you do is take the present tense versions of desayunar, swap the A for an E. Yo desayune, tú desayunes, él, ella, usted desayune, nosotros desayunamos, ellos, ustedes desayunen. Another point where we have to look at is que. So not always, but most of the time, a good portion of the time, when you see que and a verb that comes after que, usually it's going to be in subjunctive. Espero que desayunes. Like I said, it usually depends on the situation, but if you're ever in doubt, just automatically translate it to the subjunctive form of the verb. And AR and ER verbs follow the same pattern. You change the E to A, so it's inverted. So our fourth sentence, eat your breakfast. Desayuna. So we're going to focus on the word eat. The rest of the sentence doesn't matter for this example. Eat at desayuna, in this example, in this context, is a command. You're telling somebody to eat, somebody to eat breakfast. And really, commands in Spanish are very easy. With AR verbs like desayunar, you just drop the R and then you just say it like that, desayuna. You're trying to be more polite, you change the A to E, desayune. For ER, IR verbs, it's the same thing. You drop the ER and the IR and you just replace it with the E. But no, that's when you're talking to one person. AR verbs, if you're talking to more than one person, you change the A to E and then you put an N at the end. That's how you win it. For IR and ER verbs, it's the same thing. Put an N at the end and you change the E to A. If you want to tell somebody to not do something, with AR verbs, you just change the A to E, you use the to form, and you put no in front of it. No desayunes. It will be a little bit more formal. No desayune. And same thing if you're talking to multiple people. Simply put a no in front of the plural form. No desayune. So yeah, that's how you talk in the present in Spanish. Let me teach you how to say all the forms of the future in Spanish. It's going to be a short video because it's really not that hard. First sentence, I will travel to Spain next year. Viajaré a España el próximo año. The word we're going to focus on in this sentence is viajaré. This is the future form of viajar. In Spanish, there's a specific form that you use when you want to talk about words in the future. Let me show you those conjugations right now. Yo viajaré, tú viajarás, él, ella viajará, nosotros viajaremos, ellos, ustedes viajarán. And the good thing about this form is the same for all three types of verbs, ER, AR, and IR verbs. So for regular verbs, all you do is keep the normal unconjugated form, then you just add the ending at the end of that. But the most important thing that you need to take note of, see those little accent marks? You have to put the accent on that part of the word. Because if you don't, in spoken speech, you can actually be changing the form of the word. Let me give you a quick example. Viajarás versus viajaras. First one is you will travel. Second pronunciation is when you want to express past on real situations, hypothetical situations, wishes, desires, otherwise known as the subjunctive form. So the accent mark is really important. All right, second sentence. I am going to study tonight. Voy a estudiar esta noche. So the part we're going to focus on is voy a estudiar. So to say that you're going to do something, what you're going to do is you're going to use the present form of ir plus a plus the unconjugated form of whatever verb you're trying to use. Let's focus on voy or ir. Show you how to conjugate that. Yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros vamos, ellos, ustedes van. Like I said, it's always going to be the present tense form of ir. You never say something like estoy yendo a estudiar, están yendo a estudiar, estamos yendo a estudiar. Like you never say things like that. Last sentence, I'm about to eat. Estoy a punto de comer. We're going to focus on that whole sentence. When you want to say that you're about to do something, you got to use the verb estar plus a punto plus de and the conjugated verb, whatever verb you use. Let me show you how to conjugate estar or the verb to be. Yo estoy, tú estás, él, ella, usted está, nosotros estamos, ellos, ustedes están. And yeah, that's how you talk about the future in Spanish.